So the one for me was the Ultra Vulture. It's the Ultra Vulture by Ultra Vulture, and this is supposed to be a great box, right? It's a dual mono tube enhancing box that you can drive, and it looked great, and it was said that you could use it for mastering, which is awesome. And I was really into the idea of having something that you could enhance with tube distortion, but for me it was a number of things. Okay, it looked great, it felt great, I can't knock it there, but when using it, there was a very, very small window of what was acceptable on someone's track. In mastering, obviously, things need to be relatively subtle, okay? So there was a setting that I liked that was so subtle that I may as well not be using that box at all. I may as well be using something like a compressor or an EQ. I had it on this one setting that I thought was suitable for mastering, that I could just bypass it and unbypass it, and it sounded relatively balanced. For me, that was just not worth the money. It's like, you could, for that same sound, you could have an EQ or a compressor on top of it. But for actual distortion, using it on mixing, using it in production, it would be a great tool, but it just wasn't worth it for having something that slightly enhances the track. So unfortunately, that was not a product for me. If you went to change settings to try and A/B that sounded better on like P1 or P2, the change in volume was so drastic and the change in distortion was so drastic that you had to try and spend a little while like setting up, getting it to actually sound normal and usable. To change back settings, you then had to switch 2 knobs and then 2 kind of bias controls and just even hear how it would sound. And there's so many switches that you had to change in order for it to sound level that it was really hard to A/B between settings quickly, and it was very hard to gauge what was the best. So I found one setting on this unit and I used that, just bypass, unbypass, and I thought, well, this is really expensive for what it was. I'm just going to switch it out and get something that's actually has a tube sound, but then can actually have another function like compression or EQ. So yeah, that was my one. So let me know what yours was. It could be a plugin, it could be a synth, it could be a microphone. What do you think is really overrated, and what just didn't work out for you with that product, and why? So was it the usability, was it the sound, and what did you sell it for? What did you get instead? I really want to know and to hear people's gossip on this.